Hello everyone, welcome to my Black Ops Cold War Realism walkthrough, and this is Mission 2, Fractured Jaw, and this is a really fun mission, but my god was it a pain to get this recording done, because I don't know what it is about Call of Duty, but Call of Duty just cannot deliver a properly optimized experience for PS4 to allow people to actually capture footage on PS4 properly. So what I ended up doing is I would stop the recording after I did a combat encounter and then restart the recording when I got started on the new encounter, and this definitely helped in making sure that there weren't as many unnecessary trims done by PlayStation, but they're still there. Although not to the same degree as what would happen if I were to just record this mission from beginning to end without having to make any interruptions in the recording. But that's done, and now right here, make a mad dash on the left-hand side, take out this rocket launcher guy right here, and then grab this human shield. See? This is why I love the human shield mechanic in this game, and you're gonna see just how powerful it is. Look at it. The enemies are just not able to hit me. They're going to be shooting at me, but they're hitting the human shield. And this is promoting such aggressive play. And when in any Call of Duty game have you ever been able to do anything like this? In every single Call of Duty game before this, you've always had to be so passive to ensure that the enemies didn't kill you. But they're rewarding aggression right here by allowing you to use the enemies intelligently to set them up to being grabbed as a human shield. And right here, when you run over to this side, grab this guy as a human shield, and then take out this guy. He's always going to be there. And then rather than going out the window, I'm going to go in this direction. There's a guy who's going to open the window right here, so you got to shoot him before he hits you. There we go. Now make a mad dash. There's going to be this guy shooting me, but he's not going to be very accurate in shooting. And then grab this guy as a human shield, and then take out the guys in the courtyard. You're not going to be able to clear out all of them in time before the human shield actually goes away, but it's still good nonetheless. I mean, this fast-paced action with this game is so good, and it's quite ironic considering that Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3 really tried to make the action seem like it was very aggressive by giving you all these options, but in actuality it really wasn't, given how punishing the difficulty was for some really dumb reasons due to the bad designs that Call of Duty favors. And unfortunately, a lot of the bad designs present within the older Call of Duty games are still present here. Like, for instance, I had a really stupid moment where I ran into this courtyard because the AI said that it was clear, but there were still enemies around. So do not push into this area too quickly when you hear them say the area is clear. Wait for Sims to push forward, and he will most likely clear out the rest of the enemies. But you'll notice the dialogue is saying that the area is clear, but you can clearly see that there are enemies right in front of me. And also, I'm shooting through this window over here, so I think wallbanging is back in this game, similar to Modern Warfare, but I have yet to see if the other missions will provide anything of the sort. But you'll notice I'm not pushing forward because I know there are still enemies around. And then I see Sims right there, and that's when I know the area is clear. Now what you're going to have to do is hug the left-hand side and then take an angle in order to get over to this guy, grab him as a human shield, and then take care of these guys. There's unfortunately going to be a trim done by PlayStation for whatever reason, because Call of Duty doesn't know how to optimize their game correctly to allow PS4 players to capture footage correctly. And what happens here is I run up the stairs and I grab the guy that I was looking at, and then I grab him as a human shield, and I take out the two enemies right here. I'm going to keep this guy as a human shield because there are still enemies right over here. They're taking cover, but I'm going to be able to be very aggressive and just push forward. And once again, I never thought a Call of Duty game would ever embrace this kind of design. The addition of the human shield mechanic may be a very small feature, but my god, it is something that makes quite a difference. And it allows you to be so strategic. And look at this. I'm able to be so aggressive. I grab this guy as a human shield, and I take out these two enemies. It's so good. It turns the gameplay from being kill everything until they die and just get rid of all these massive amounts of enemies to knowing when to kill and when not to kill. Because if I left certain enemies alive, I could grab them as a human shield and use them as a way of pushing forward so that I can get rid of the rest of the enemies and speed up the whole process. And it definitely adds a level of skill to realism difficulty that you don't get in the older Call of Duty games, because the older Call of Duty games are just luck because they're so poorly designed and they're so RNG dependent. But now, the ability to use this human shield allows you to be very skillful, allows you to be very tactical, allows you to control the engagement so greatly. And I hope that with this new addition of the human shield mechanic, it's allowing the developers to be very creative with their sections, because if they're going to make you this capable, they have to make the enemies very capable. Although I really hope that they do not favor any kind of infinite spawn moments or long sections of gameplay where you're just standing in a back corner doing nothing. I hope they actually try to take advantage of this mechanic and any other potential mechanic I might stumble across in this game, and actually weave it into a streamlined form of gameplay that actually feels like it doesn't drag out for some really stupid reasons, that doesn't embrace any kind of poor designs on this part, and also it doesn't end too quickly. And I think that mission perfectly captures that form of gameplay perfectly. This mission is one of my favorite missions in the game so far, because it's properly paced, it takes advantage of the human shield mechanic, and it's able to transition from ground encounters to vehicle encounters perfectly. You know, if this kind of mission design and mentality is applied to the other missions, I'm gonna really enjoy this game, and this might be my favorite Call of Duty ever. And for a game set in the Cold War, where the technology isn't as advanced, it's honestly surprising that they're able to make this game feel so great so far. And this might actually be a very replayable campaign if it actually does it perfectly. Because compared to Modern Warfare 2019, which was honestly the most boring Call of Duty game I ever played, I played the first 3 missions of that game and I just deleted it. And Seraphim 17 felt the exact same way, only his reasons for hating Modern Warfare 2019 are slightly different. Like, this game right now is really starting to impress me, and I'm so excited to see what's coming. But we now have to do this defense sequence with the helicopter, and for a defense sequence, I'm honestly surprised that they're not favoring the typical approach of just having it drag out for a very long time. This actually feels very short. And once we've eliminated this vehicle over here, we're going to transition over to the survival sequence, which is not a kill-based sequence, it's just a time-based sequence. But we have this sequence right here. This is very difficult, and there's a random possibility that you might die, but I think that's mainly because I was doing this wrong. So maintain fire for that amount of time, go to the right, and then go back to the left, go to the right, and then that is the end of that sequence. And now we're going to transition over right here. You don't even have to shoot the enemies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit behind Sims, and I'm just going to remain in this spot while prone, because the enemies just never try to push up. The only threat here is that if the enemies decide to throw a grenade, you've got to throw it back before it detonates. As long as you're able to hold back the grenades, and as long as the enemies don't decide to go to a spot where they are most likely going to shoot you rather than your AI partners, you're going to be able to do the sequence. And it lasts just long enough for this to be a properly paced encounter, a sequence that doesn't drag out, and it feels like a cinematic moment rather than a moment that requires player agency. And any kind of cinematic moment in the game should never require player agency, because anytime a player agency is applied to such cinematic moments, it's always going to be bad. If only Resident Evil 3 Remake figured that out with Infernal Difficulty with that one rocket launcher section. But once Bell gets knocked over, that is the end of this mission, so stay tuned for the future missions. Thank you all for watching, and you take care now.